said your hand's always broken. You ain't known for your punching power since you moved up from lightweight to welterweight. Why are you so sure you're going to do this?
It's wild, because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight.
For that, Floyd is the best fighter, in his era. And I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
After Floyd Mayweather called out Terence Crawford, Stephen A. Smith explained that boxing today limits some fighters while boosting others unfairly. He argued that Crawford deserves more recognition for his talent and accomplishments. Stephen also noted that Mayweather is aging and no longer the same fighter he once was. He stressed the focus should be on Crawford's dominance, not unfair comparisons that downplay just how great he really is.
About what he had to say about you when he said you're way better than Floyd Money Mayweather. I know you heard that he said that. What thoughts came to your mind when you heard that Canelo Alvarez said that about you?
Hey, that's a big compliment. He's been in the ring with both of us, so he would know, from his own experience. A lot of people, they can say this, they can say that, but there's only, a few people that can say they've been in the ring with Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather and give their own.
Shane Mosley said that Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather are both excellent boxers, but Crawford is naturally larger. He explained that Crawford's size and power give him an advantage Floyd didn't have at middleweight. Mosley, however, praised Mayweather's precision and technical skills. Floyd overcame bigger fighters through defense and ring intelligence. Crawford doesn't face that issue as often. Mosley believes Mayweather's greatness was built on adaptability and skill, not sheer size or strength.
It's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather.
I think Crawford is better, bigger. He's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather is really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because it's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. Like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
Speaking with Ariel Helwani, Terence Crawford reminded fans that Canelo Alvarez is the one who truly understands. Since Canelo has faced both Mayweather and Crawford, his perspective holds weight. Crawford pointed out the situations were completely different. Floyd fought Canelo when he was still inexperienced, but Crawford fought him as a prime 168-pound champion. Despite Canelo's size advantage, Crawford beat him, proving his skill. Crawford believes Canelo's comments about feeling his power show greatness depends on timing.
It's cooking right there, because there was this thought, this prevailing thought that the smaller man always loses to the bigger man. This was repeated time and again throughout the fight week. And he proved that that's not the case. Again, I hope you all recognize this was a 168-pounder fighting a 147-pounder. He had one fight at 154 last August, was the undisputed king at 147, beating Errol Spence in July of 2023. Came back the following year, fought Israel Madrimov at the soccer stadium in Los Angeles, and then did everything he could to get this fight, played his cards the right way, and there he was, standing face to face against Canelo Alvarez, who did seem for the longest time like he didn't want to take this fight, and because there was great risk involved, because not only is Terence Crawford one of the all-time best fighters in the history of the sport, he's smaller than him, so a lot of people would be like, oh, of course you're going to beat the smaller guy, right? But I think Canelo recognized, yeah, he might be smaller, but he's that damn good.
When Floyd Mayweather faced Canelo, his trainer Greg Hackett used another approach. He stressed that Floyd was a complete fighter. Hackett said Floyd's style at that point was polished, disciplined, and consistent, unlike Crawford's more wild and aggressive style. Hackett explained that Crawford relies on sudden counters and switching tactics. Floyd, on the other hand, excelled because he performed everything flawlessly. Hackett respects Crawford's success but still believes Mayweather's showing against Canelo was the best performance ever.
The Floyd Mayweather that Canelo Alvarez fought.
Yeah.
In the last version of Terence Crawford that we've seen in the ring.
Yeah.
Who's the better fighter, Jay?
Of course you got to give it to Floyd. Floyd at that time. Ben, what's up? Floyd at that time versus Canelo was in total confidence. His skill set, his IQ. You know what I'm saying? Everything he do, he was just a complete fighter that night. But I feel like was up against a lot because he was fighting a guy that we knew something about, but we ain't know too much about. People don't understand how much a fighter could be thrown off by what he don't know. And the reason it throws you off is because you're actually learning about the fighter while you're in there. That's what Bud went up against that night. That's why he didn't look so great. To me, I could be wrong, but he didn't look so great to me because he was learning a lot about Madrimov while he was in there with Madrimov.
Max Kellerman compared the very different paths of both fighters. He explained that after moving past lightweight, Floyd became very selective with opponents, carefully planning each fight. Crawford, in contrast, has taken another path. He usually accepts any challenge without hesitation. Crawford comes across as bolder and more risk-taking than Mayweather, who carefully calculated every step. Kellerman emphasized this doesn't reduce Floyd's greatness, but it highlights Crawford's determination to test himself across divisions and against top competition.
Because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. Oh, yes. That makes a difference to people.
Crawford openly stated that he believes he could beat Floyd Mayweather in his prime. This was not said out of disrespect, but from confidence in his skills. Crawford admires Mayweather's abilities but feels his own versatility, power, and switch hitting style would be enough. He doesn't want to dismiss Floyd's accomplishments. Instead, he wants to honor boxing's competitive nature. To him, acknowledging this challenge reflects the very spirit that makes the sport great and pushes fighters beyond limits.
Who do you think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me.
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd? You know, that's one of my favorite fighters. But yeah, nah.
Jeff Mayweather, Floyd's uncle, reminded fans that Floyd was already past his best when he fought Canelo. He was older, slower, and not as sharp as the dominant version from lighter classes. Even then, Floyd still beat Canelo with skill and quickness. Jeff argues this is often ignored when comparing Floyd's victory to Crawford's win over Canelo. His view is that circumstances matter. Floyd was declining while Crawford was still peaking, making direct comparisons difficult and often misleading.
If we remember, Canelo at that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience. He still took him, into deep waters. So
What was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, obviously.
Very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people.
How you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, so, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
I mean, don't you? I mean,
want to make himself look like he did something great.
Stephen A. Smith said Crawford's victory against Canelo was among the most exciting fights recently. He praised Crawford for defeating a larger opponent, despite being seen as the smaller and weaker man. Stephen thought the fight highlighted Crawford's skill and his ability to entertain fans. He said fighters like Crawford are essential for the sport because they bring both technical brilliance and excitement. Each appearance becomes special because they know how to deliver memorable performances and thrilling moments.
1,482 people showed up for this fight. But the biggest props of the night goes to Terence Crawford, who did not disappoint. He was supposed to be the smaller man. He was supposed to be the weaker man. He was supposed to be the man that was going to spend the entire night on his bicycle, running for his damn life because Saul Canelo Alvarez was coming his way. That is not what happened. What happened instead, ladies and gentlemen, was a masterclass in boxing by Terence Crawford. Now, to me, the fight, some people were saying it was a severely lopsided and stuff like that. I'm not going for that. I'm not feeling that at all. It wasn't like that at all, okay? I had the fight 5-4 in favor of Terence Crawford after 9 rounds. It could have gone either way. And then he basically put on a boxing clinic over the last 3 rounds of the fight. And one rounds 10, 11, and 12. He used his jab. He kept his distance. He exchanged when necessary, which is something that I was scared to death of him doing. But he wasn't scared at all. Okay?
Another boxing fan explained that Floyd Mayweather has the biggest worldwide following because he never lost and dominated pay-per-view. However, he argued that Terence Crawford, a natural southpaw who switches stances easily, might be even more talented. Crawford's style is unpredictable and difficult to read. He controls fights with timing, accuracy, and composure, similar to Floyd but with his own unique approach. His ring control shows qualities that remind people of Mayweather while adding a fresh twist.
Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. Who wins this fight? I'm going with Terence Crawford, and I don't think that's unpopular or crazy to say. I think most people will agree with me. I understand Floyd Mayweather has a lot of fans out there, but the truth is, as great as Floyd Mayweather is, Terence Crawford is one of one. And I say that because who else has knockout power in both hands, is able to switch stances between orthodox and southpaw so seamlessly while having great footwork? It's not like Terence Crawford is some stationary target or a flat-footed fighter that's going to be chasing Floyd around. Terence Crawford knows how to cut the ring off. He has tremendous ring IQ, and not only is he a great boxer, but he's a great fighter. He'll be able to make it dirty. If he is on the inside with Floyd, that power will carry him far. And I just don't see how Floyd will be able to beat a Terence Crawford. I really don't see it. I understand Floyd's defense is incredible, but he is smaller than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford would have a significant reach advantage on Floyd Mayweather. I believe Terence Crawford would also be taller than Floyd Mayweather, as well as all the skillful and technical aspects of what I just laid out prior. So I don't understand how anybody could pick Floyd Mayweather to beat Terence Crawford. Styles make fights, and I believe Terence has the style to beat one Floyd Mayweather. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. Join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
Many voices in boxing reject constant comparisons between Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford. They argue Mayweather's dominance was unique and cannot be duplicated. No matter Crawford's success, they rank Floyd above because of his defense, intelligence, and surgical precision in fights. Others believe Crawford's rise is more hype than fact, with fans eager to crown him Mayweather's successor. Despite clear differences in style and careers, comparisons continue. Experts say this builds unnecessary hype while ignoring important context and realities.
Let's say it with me. Terence Crawford isn't Mayweather. I need you guys to sit here, grab somebody close to you, hold their hand, sit down, say it with me. Terence Crawford is not Floyd Mayweather. They're just both black. That's the only similarities they have. They both black. Terence Crawford loves being hit. The guy likes to scrap. He likes to brawl. Terence Crawford isn't even an Alexander Usyk. This guy loves being hit. He gets a thrill out of it. He sticks his tongue at his opponents when he is hit. Look at that. He enjoys that stuff. He tends to fight with low hands at times. He tends to exchange and brawl in the pocket, plant and fire, despite him having really great feet. Sometimes he likes to sit there and fire. You have Terence Crawford beating Canelo, that's fine. I get you. But don't bring up Floyd Mayweather. No similarities. Floyd was way quicker, way sharper, better defensively, better reflexes, better timing, better IQ, better damn near everything. So say it with me one more time before we go. Terence Crawford, we said it, is not Floyd Mayweather. There we go.
Before Crawford, no fighter had ever been undisputed champion in 3 separate weight divisions. That set him apart. This shows his versatility and strength across multiple categories. Floyd never unified titles fully at welterweight or super welterweight. Crawford, however, has gathered more championships than any other boxer in modern times. This record secures his place in boxing history and creates a distinction from Mayweather. It's proof of Crawford's dominance and lasting impact in ways Floyd never achieved.
Terence Bud Crawford defeats Canelo Alvarez and becomes the first ever male 3-division undisputed champion in boxing history. Thank God the judges got this one right. But wow, what a technical battle this was. It was a very close fight, but as it went on, Terence was getting more and more comfortable in there. I remember in the 7th round, he even stood right in front of Canelo and fought him on the inside. Then in rounds 9 through 12, Crawford really started to open up on his flurries, gaining Canelo's respect. But the reason Crawford won this fight was because he was surprisingly durable at 168. He was able to do his thing because for the 36 minutes he was in there with Canelo, he was never really worried about what was coming back at him. I mean, Canelo just kept going to Terence's right side of his body, and that stung a couple times, but those were the really only hard shots Canelo landed. Unfortunately, this is terrible for Canelo's legacy because the smaller men beat him up, and Canelo's kind of been cherry-picking his opponents the last couple years. But well-deserved for Terence Crawford. It's gonna look amazing on his legacy. Boxing got it right tonight. On the biggest stage, with the most eyeballs, no controversy, just pure sport. And one of the best ever at the sport got it done tonight, Terence Bud Crawford.
Crawford spoke about the serious training he put in for Canelo. He explained that his camp focused on building strength and conditioning to handle competing at 168 pounds. He credited his win to discipline, preparation, and faith in himself. Crawford made it clear his success wasn't luck but the result of a perfect plan. Every fight, he said, is meant to add to his career and legacy. He believes this era in boxing belongs entirely to him now.
The people that ran with that narrative convinced me that that was a narrative because I don't know the world as much. The thought of not having to lose weight is probably a happier. Was it how was camp? Good camp.
It was great. You know, it wasn't a camp that we was focused on weight, you know, so we could just focus on my craft and focus on, you know, getting stronger, which we was already strong, you know, but, you know, we don't know what we up against. So, you know, we definitely want to make sure our body is prepared for whatever onslaught Canelo brings. So, of course, you know, we gonna, you know, cross our I's and dot our T's. And, you know, that's what we did in training.
You looked unbelievable. You looked absolutely unbelievable. Not that you ever don't, but it's just like, God, this guy looks like he is very prepared. And then as the fight continued, it felt that way. Turkey Al-Sheikh deemed you the fighter of the century. And obviously Ring Magazine and TKO come together to put this incredible event together. What has it been like, you know, with the modern world of boxing now, that Riyadh season has gotten involved? And obviously Dana and Nick Khan of the WWE. And it feels like anything is possible in the boxing world now. Is that the big takeaway that we should think after you and Canelo fight and have the success, or how do you kind of view it all?
Yeah, for sure. You know, anything is definitely possible. You know, and a lot of people kept saying that what I was trying to accomplish.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned.